Welcome into KSU Nation, the best K-State and Big 12 YouTube out there. I'm Stevie B.
And I'm Kenny G.
And in today's episode, we're going to be hanging out, reviewing K-State's loss to Arizona State, and also talking about the Big 12, Week 12, and then also doing our power rankings. Kenny, let them know about the sub button, man. We are so close to 1,000 subs.
Oh, man, we're so close. We can taste it. It's like right there on the tip of the tongue. No, as Stevie B said, we are the fastest growing K-State and Big 12 YouTube channel that I'm aware of. I mean, I don't know any other fastest growing. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to speak today. Yeah, but we we have a subscribe button just located right beneath this video that you're watching currently, followed by a bunch of other buttons that you should be aware of. There's a thumbs up button, and you should click those. It definitely helps out the channel in a free way. Also, if you want to go ahead and leave us a little donation, we just really want your money. It's holiday season, and we got to go get presents for our kids. I don't want to guilt you into that, but if you want to,
there we go.
If you want to just help out a down and out K-State fan, throw a little cash our way. Cheer us up. Buy us a cup of coffee.
There we go. There we go. Really quick, I want to shout out my daughter, my wife, my mother-in-law for hooking me up with this awesome K-State light right here. It's too legit, man. Too legit to quit. Bum, bum, bum.
Too legit. Too legit.
Got one of my students in here. What's going on, dude? McMillan, how we doing, brother?
Latone.
Blackout. What's up? Dean, how's it going, man?
He's like, I've been waiting for this all day.
So, by the way, he told me his first name is Logic. He said, whenever we get big enough to remember him, he said our channel could blow up. So, shout out to my student for believing in KSU Nation, bud.
Blowing up can have a double meaning. You know that, Steve.
Well,
it could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Hopefully a good thing. Hopefully a good thing. I want to say two things, and then we're going to get right into this. So,
are you giving your initial thoughts, Steve?
No, actually not yet. Not quite yet. So,
okay.
We've been doing this every podcast. I used to play football for Manhattan High. I went to Manhattan High School. Manhattan High is undefeated. They're playing in the sub-state championship game this coming Friday at Derby. Both teams are undefeated. The winner goes to state. Honestly, the winner of that game will probably win state. I think they'll probably play Gardner Edgerton. But as a former Indian, former football player in the Centennial League, I was, all league honorable mention my senior year. No big deal. No big deal. Shout out to Manhattan High being undefeated and going to play in a sub-state championship. Hopefully they win and, they get to play for state. Secondly, Kenny, you and I went to a really fun game on Friday. I got the highlights. I'm about to pull up right here. You want to talk about it really quick, and then we'll get into this, because shout out to your wife and you guys for inviting us.
Yeah. So as you guys may have known in previous episodes, we talked a lot about this. Stevie and I, we actually coached our daughter's volleyball team, their third and fourth grade volleyball team. And my wife thought it'd be cool to take them to a K-State volleyball team, and they were playing TCU this last Friday. And it was the first time I've ever been to a D1 volleyball match. And same thing with Stevie. He had never been either. So we thought it'd be really cool to have all of us watching this. And man, did it deliver. It was so fun.
It was electric.
I am like, what have I been missing my whole life? I've been missing so much, because it was a lot of fun watching them, like, just the way that they drill the ball and how fast that thing comes in. I mean, it is explosive. And the little building that it was in, I can't remember the name.
Morgan Family Arena.
Morgan Family Arena was a nice building. I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was rocking in there. The
front row seats, baby.
Front row seats. The food was good. The pregame video, like the hype video, was really fire. It was cool, man. The whole environment and the experience was just enough to make me consider getting season tickets. And right here, it looks like Stevie's got some footage here that he's going to show us.
Here we go.
Baller. Oh, you got a little collage going here.
Is the sound working?
It is a little bit here and there. Oh my gosh, just look at how insane that. Oh my gosh, what a play right there. It is there we go, doing the Wabash. Yeah, man. Wait, this isn't the game winner, is it? No, this is the game winner. This is the game winner. She hits it up in the air, and the other people did not know what to do. It was the last point. They swept them. TCU was ranked 18th in the country. And K-State's not even ranked. They had a losing record. I think they had a 2-game loss streak even coming into this game. And they managed to get the dub in sweeping. There's our daughters right there. They managed to get the dub in sweeping. There we go. Willie.
Dude, Willie totally watches KSU Nation. He totally watches it. So there we go. Okay, let's get right into this K-State 24-14 loss to Arizona State. You went there with your family. Actually, you and I saw each other. I'm going to pull up that photo real quick. Pre-game, and then we'll pull up, and then you can talk about yours. Kenny and I, here we are at the Bill yesterday. Right. It was always a great time seeing Kenny at a K-State football game. I'm rocking a brand new K-State hoodie. Used some money for my birthday for my mother-in-law to get that. Pretty awesome. Kenny, you're rocking something different though, bro.
Yeah, it was Fort Riley Day, and I decided to go with like more of a military shirt, hat look or whatever. Because I also have a little picture here that I want to show.
Click it.
I brought my dad, and my dad's in the middle here, and he's sporting his company jacket, G&G Restoration, and then his best friend, also fellow servicemen, military guy. They both served together, and I just wanted to treat him to a game. I got him press box seats, and we got to watch the game in the sky deck. It was a lot of fun taking him there, and he definitely enjoyed himself. He had a good time. Same thing with his buddy Mike as well. They had a really good time. And it was just it was unfortunate that the Cats took the L. We definitely were hoping to come in with a W, and there's a lot that can be said about this, Steve.
There's a lot.
Do you want me to go ahead and just get into it?
Yeah. Like we said earlier, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. We're really close to 1,000 subs. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be on Go Power Cats YouTube channel for the K-State Insiders. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got invited by Big Tim Fitzgerald. King Fitz. Pretty excited to be on there to talk about that. We're gonna try to get both Kenny and I on there in one setup. I don't know how it's gonna work, but we're gonna try. But yes, Kenny, you take it away first, and then I'll add anything that you want, anything about the game as well, because it was pretty frustrating.
Okay, so I just want to say in the outset, this was not the result that K-State was looking for. It's completely uncharacteristic for K-State to come out the way they did. And that expectation was set by the coaching staff. Going into this game, we thought, every game that we've played so far, we have been favored. Like literally every single game we've been favored. And it's been frustrating because we knew the talent that we had. Now you can make all the excuses in the world. I remember these are supposed to be my initial thoughts. I left the game angry, but then when I watched the post-game press conference, I felt a little bad and a little bit. I didn't know how to really feel. It's not like it's the end of the world. I want to say this to all the K-State fans out there. This isn't the end of the world. This is one season, and we've got everything. We have the whole future ahead of us. Okay. Like this is not the end of the world that we lost this game. We have 7 wins. We could end up with 10 wins on the year. That's not a bad thing. Yes, we're not going to get a title. There's a chance. There's a very small chance that we could end up being in the title, but I'm not even trying to think about that because I don't want to bring any false hope into this equation. I just want us to finish strong in our last home game, go to Ames, play a great football game, get redemption from the last season, and have a great bowl game, and look forward to the next year where Avery Johnson's got a whole year under his belt, a year of reflection and getting better. The coaching staff needs to really take a look at internally. I know that Chris Kleiman didn't say anything about changes. I think that needs to happen. I think everybody knows that needs to happen. You can't go into this season with the expectations of Big 12 contenders and fall the way they did. Now, there's a lot of teams that were expected to be at the top that are at the bottom. And if I'm a K-State fan, I'm glad I'm not Oklahoma State. I'm glad I'm not Utah. I'm glad I'm not Arizona. I'm glad I'm not KU, even though KU is looking pretty good right now, but they're not going to get to the Big 12 title game. All those teams I just listed were supposed to be at the top of the table going for a Big 12 championship title. The only team that was fighting for that still was K-State, that was expected to be amongst those top teams. So if I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, okay, is this the end of the world? No, we could be a whole lot worse than where we are right now. We could be a whole lot worse.
You're getting into moral victories, man. I don't like it, but go on.
I'm not saying that we had a victory here. I'm just saying things could be a whole lot worse.
Yeah, that's a moral victory, but yes, go on. Sorry.
Well, nothing about this game. I'm just saying for the season as a whole. We still played good in other games. We still managed to win a lot of games. The season isn't over. You know, we still got a bowl game. We still have, a winning record. It's not the end of the world. But in terms of this game, yes, I'm extremely disappointed. My criticism for this team has always been that we cannot come out and be dominant from the start. It always takes us so long to get going. And I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. It really does come down to the coaching staff and their preparation, because how in the world can you have all this talent and all this skill and fall on your face right when the clock hits go? And then you have to claw your way back almost every single game. Even teams like Oklahoma State, they got off to an early lead. Arizona, they got off to an early lead. And of course, Arizona State, Colorado. I mean, yeah, we made some comebacks and we managed to claw our way back on a lot of those teams. But you can't just keep letting teams get the advantage early every time. It's just not that's not going to help at all, like with you winning games. And I really, really hope that as the season ends, we manage to fix this problem going into next season. All right, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I want to, add on to a lot of what you said, because everything you said was completely correct. K-State does not come out fired up, ready to go at all. And I want to give out some stats here. In 3 out of the 5 home games this year, K-State has scored 1 offensive touchdown or fewer. So 1 or 0 in 3 out of 5, 60% of home games. If you're looking at the entire season, 4 out of the 5 home games, K-State has averaged 1 touchdown or fewer per first half. The only other one, so K-State had 2 against KU, so we'll give 1 of those to this past weekend, and then we're going to take out the Oklahoma State game. So basically, 80% of the time, K-State scores 1 or fewer offensive touchdown at home. If you're looking at the season overall in all 10 games, 60% of the time, K-State has scored 1 or 0 touchdowns in the entire first half on offense. That is horrible. It's frustrating. It's unacceptable. And, I'll get into more of the thoughts on Go PowerCat tomorrow. Like I have a lot of thoughts relating to the coaching staff. But I just want to say, you and I called it earlier this week. Like there's something going on of Kleiman. I don't know what it is. We've heard some rumors here and there. But the players feed off that energy. I mean, he even said that they thought they were going to win at Houston. If he thought that, the players thought that, everyone else thought they could just walk in and win, and they didn't, right? And he did not look like himself this past week. I don't know what's going on with that, like why the players are not fired up and ready to go. I think part of it is also, I think that the play calling duties are affecting Connor Riley as an offensive line coach, because the O-line is dog crap right now, absolute dog crap. And he's trying to balance coaching the O-line and calling plays, and neither are working at all right now. Let's just be honest. They're not working at all right now. The defense is taking way too long to settle down. We've always talked about how they're better in the second half. You can't get down 21-0. I don't care if they got the ball at midfield. I don't care if every single time K-State turns it over, the other team always scores a touchdown. It is infuriating that we can't go 3 and out, or at least hold them to a field goal. This was an entire team loss. Even if field goals, special teams unit. Like, I understand why 4 times in the last 2 games, 4 times we can't have a good snap and a good hold and a good kick. What is happening, dude? Like, right now, it feels like it's 100% mental for the entire team. I mean, we have receivers catching balls and taking 2 steps and fumbling it, right? Even going back to the KU game, like the entire last month of K-State football, K-State's looked awful. Like, they've only got 1 win, and honestly, they should have even lost that game. K-State should probably be 6-4 right now. They look like crap. They really do.
Yeah, it's really disheartening. Listen, I know Chris Kleiman's got some serious personal issues going on outside of football, dealing with his family, and it's tragic from what I've understood. It's none of our business as fans to know what's going on in his life.
If something's going on, let someone else take over so the players can still stay focused.
Right. It's disheartening to know that no one's been able to step up for him. And I feel bad. Yes, it does fall on his shoulders. And listen, these kinds of moments, there's never a good time for tragedy to happen in your life. It never is a good time ever. But in the middle of the season, when you're supposed to be running a football team and a football program and trying to get them to, to getting them to the title match, which is now out of reach. And you saw him breaking down in the press conference. And that's where I meant, like, I felt bad for him. I was angry and frustrated, but then I'm watching this man break down in front of me, which he doesn't do this. He's not an emotional guy. He's very even keel. He's usually very level-headed in press conferences, but you could see that he's got like the weight of the world on his shoulders, it seems like. And he felt like everything just came crashing down because from what I've understood, he had to take some time away from the team to deal with very serious personal issues. And this is what breaks my heart, is because like nobody could step up for him. And that's what's killer for me. But I think as fans, we need to understand that, like, the fact that we were favored in every single game goes to show that we have the talent. It's there. And
just underperforming.
We let ourselves down. We lost because we beat ourselves in a lot of games, and it's unfortunate. And there's a lot to learn from this season. We have a lot of young guys that can still come back next year. And I said this in the beginning. The year of K-State is 2025, but when I started seeing all the teams like fall apart, like Oklahoma State, Utah, Arizona, I'm like, wait, hold on a second. Maybe K-State could actually make a run here. And it turns out that they weren't ready this year.
Well, I think
a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad preparation. And yes, you said it, Steve. Connor Riley not filling the shoes of offensive coordinator, and he's also leaving a huge hole in coaching his offensive line, which has been abysmal this last month. What I said this last podcast, what happened to our offensive rushing offense? It's frustrating. I mean, you saw some great plays from DJ, and you're like, oh, there they are. There's the offensive line finally doing something, but it was just too little, too late, and like even when we were so far behind, there were still moments in the game where we could have came back.
Yeah.
The missed field goals, which you already touched on, Steve.
The touchdown called back. I mean, that's the 10 points that K-State lost by right there.
Yep.
Embarrassing. Let's get into the offense here. Let's get into the offense. Shout out to everyone watching. We appreciate you guys. We're going to get into our look around the Big 12 here right after we get done talking about this K-State game, and then we'll do our power rankings right after that.
And just a quick shout out, Arizona State.
Very good team. Very good team.
Outside of K-State, you guys have one of the most, I would even say include K-State. You have one of the most miraculous stories. I like being projected to be the last place team in the conference. And now you have a shot. The control is in your hands to get yourself to a Big 12 title game. What a huge turnaround. Kenny Dillingham and company have blown all expectations out of the water. Hats off to Arizona State. You guys, I mean, what an amazing storyline. And let's just get into this, Steve.
Yeah, Avery Johnson was 24 of 40, 258 yards, 2 interceptions. The last one is kind of based on the last play of the game. But I want to say, again, all 3 of K-State's losses, Avery Johnson has 2 or more turnovers. That cannot happen. I understand the first one really wasn't his fault, but the guy wasn't open anyways. Don't throw that ball. You just can't.
You mean the second play of the game, Steve?
Second play of the game. I mean, K-State was down right from the count. DJ Giddens, 14 carries, 133 yards, along with 45. He's still not looking quite himself, but he looked a lot better yesterday.
Second half.
Yeah, K-State's got to figure out in first half.
Yeah.
Avery Johnson, 6 carries, 21 yards. Dylan Edwards did go out with an injury. I don't know what it is. I heard it was knee. I heard it was a hamstring. I heard it was a back of knee. I don't know what's going on.
Cheap shot.
I don't know what happened there with the defender. Like, obviously he's hurt. Let him go out of bounds. But we'll take the 15 yards. Joe Jackson looks like he's going to be the real deal whenever he's, called upon to play running back, because he looks pretty darn good every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, he looks so dang good. But yeah, I just want to touch on the Dylan Edwards thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
He went out. For those who didn't see it or weren't watching, he was running out of bounds, and then Arizona State defender just came and just rocked him like as he was already out of bounds. We got the 15 yards, and then we didn't even do anything with that. We ended up just kicking it back to him after that. But he did not come back in the game after that, and it's really unfortunate to see, because it seemed like he was actually starting to do something with the ball. Like he was actually doing well, like when he was handed the ball, but there was just, we were missing him. Keegan Johnson was out. Joe Jackson was out. It was really unfortunate, like what was going on with our team. But go ahead, Steve.
Yep. I don't know who called this, but Dante Cephas had led the team with catches. Oh, not catches, yards. He'd have over 100 yards and a touchdown if freaking Andrew Leingang didn't get called for a legal man downfield, which I hate that call anyways, because it didn't affect the play at all. But I understand the rule. But anyways, 4 catches for Dante Cephas, 65 yards. I don't think anyone called that for him to lead the team. Trace Spivey, 4 for 56, including a 26-yarder and 4th and 14.
What? I said this when when I was watching the game. I'm like, so our transfers just started doing something now?
Yeah. Spivey's been here, but yeah.
Well,
Dante is finally doing stuff. I do know Keegan Johnson got hurt pregame. Jace Brown, I don't know what's going on with him, dude. He does not look like he's on the same page with Avery. It feels like the entire offense, like they just lost their swagger ever since losing at Houston. They don't know what to do. If things don't go right, they can't recover. And you got to have some resiliency, man. You got to put that last play behind you, and no one is doing it. The receivers, obviously the O-line, Avery Johnson, running backs, everything. So, Kenny, when you're looking at this offense, what do you got to say about it overall? We've touched on a lot of things already, but do you have anything else you want to say about the K-State offense? It's terrible right now. It's terrible.
All these stats came second half, because
the
offense in the first half. Yeah, the first half we didn't do anything. I mean, there was a moment where we almost made a touchdown, but then we ended up trying to just kick it, and then we couldn't even do that. And so we left the sidelines at halftime with 0 points on the board, and we can't do that if we're trying to win a football game.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, 54.5 QBR for Avery. I mean, he's missing dudes. He did make a couple nice throws. He's not been the same, man. And I saw him get after the rest of the team, but I mean, it's everyone. Offensive coordinator, receivers, running backs.
You can't blame this on one person.
No, you cannot.
The
This is
whole
a team loss. The whole team
lost.
lost.
The whole team was out of sorts.
We did decide to. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you can't just blame this on Avery, who's also like still. I mean, he's had a whole season right now at this point, but he's still like this is his first season, and he's got a lot to learn. The talent is unbelievable with him. I mean, he is going like if he gives us 2 more years after this year, he's going to be one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the nation.
I agree.
He already has like the sparks and the showings of that right now. It's just the consistency isn't there. But once the consistency is locked in, man, he is going to be unbelievable.
Let's go to our cat of the game, or offensive player of the game. We don't do this very much for losses, but we decided to do it. DJ Giddens, 15 total touches, 139 yards. Kenny, your favorite player?
He is my favorite offensive player without a doubt. And he had some huge explosive plays that were just like, especially look, we didn't have Dylan in the game. And so having DJ come in, that was kind of important for him to step up. And he did a lot of work. He's the workhorse. And something that was, something that stood out to me, and we'll get into this, but DJ and Cam Scadaboo are very similar in how they like to run the ball. And DJ got to showcase, himself like in these big explosive plays, whereas Cam Scadaboo couldn't really showcase it on his end. He still did a pretty good job, but Arizona State, which was surprising to me, was not able to contain DJ as well as I thought they would be able to, because he had some huge explosive runs.
Only in one half, though. First half, they did very well.
The first half was pretty bad.
Okay, let's get into the let's get into the defense here. Sam Levitt torched K-State. Let's call a spade a spade. 93.3 QBR. That's amazing. I mean, I don't know how many times he escaped also running the ball. What did he have? 5 carries, 42 yards. Yeah. I mean, he's a great quarterback. I saw
he is slippery.
I saw a article about how he's got an NFL arm. He looks like an NFL quarterback. I agree. He looked amazing last night. Let's just be honest. 3 touchdown passes, a couple of really nice catches by his receivers, but 275 yards. I mean, going into the season, we had a lot of question marks about the K-State passing defense, and my God, it was exposed last night. It was. Going into the game, obviously the first thing you got to do against Arizona State is to stuff Cam Scadaboo. They did a pretty good job for the most part.
You're not going to stop him.
Short yardage, he still got the yards he needed to, but I mean, hold him to 25 carries for 73 yards, you'd be pretty happy. You just expect a little bit more out of your corners and safeties. My God, in that case, it was exposed there. Speaking of the DBs, Jordan Tyson, 12 catches, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. My God, including a 41-yarder, 1 foot in bounds, beautiful catch. I mean, those receivers, they're pretty good. They're really, really, really good, man. And K-State couldn't stop them, man. It was frustrating.
Yeah, so I'll just say, the K-State secondary has been a problem.
Atrocious all season.
A consistent problem. I at this point, I mean, yes, like there were some people that were out in the Colorado game, but I still can't believe that we beat Colorado with the secondary that we have. It's pretty horrendous. It just blows my mind. I mean, I guess our front 7 are great, so that probably helped out our secondary a lot that game. But yeah, Sam Levitt, man, he is really hard to get a hold of. I mean, he was just able to run around the pocket and just get out of there and get some yards himself. He's got that surprising speed from a quarterback that you don't expect, which is what Avery has. And I just did not see that from him. I guess I just overlooked his ability to scramble when I was watching some of the replays of Arizona State. It kind of threw me for a loop there. But The defense, again, this always is the case with what my criticism is with K-State this year, is that it took them way too long to figure it out. But the first half, they got exposed, and then Clanderman somehow figures out how to lock down that defense and get it figured out, in the second half. And they held Arizona State to just 3 points in a whole half. So it's like, where was this in the first half? Like, why does this happen every single time? This is frustrating. But it was good to see that they were able to keep fighting towards the end. It just was a little too late, man. Too little, too late. But there was one that stood among all of them, and that was Austin Romaine. I mean, he's the dog of the game this game. He was able to cause a fumble and fumble recovery or whatever, and the dude is just amazing. And I'm pretty sure PFF has him as the highest graded player on K-State for this game, and it's well deserved.
Yeah, he's the highest rated player for, I think, in the entire Big 12 defensively, like almost 90% or whatever the grade is.
Right. And to just give Jacob Parrish a little bit of of a spotlight. He had a tall task ahead of him. I mean, he had to go against one of the best, as Chris Kleiman said, that Tyson kid was probably the best receiver he's ever seen.
Tyrell McMillan's pretty good, but yeah, I would say he's second best.
Yeah, and having Jacob Parrish have to go against him, all game, that was tough. But I mean, it is what it is. The Big 12 is stacked full of really good players. You're going to find teams that are going to be really good across the board, unless you're Oklahoma State. But and that's just this year. But I would just say, if you're a K-State fan out there, the world is not on fire. There's a lot of teams that would love to be 7-3. We obviously
hate the moral victories, man. K-State shouldn't have lost to Houston, dude.
I know. We shouldn't have lost these last two games. We shouldn't have lost every game that we were favored in. But it is what it is, man. And
I know
we gotta just learn to support our team in these losses. And
how do you feel about K-State? How do you feel about K-State fans booing the team?
When did they boo the team?
Multiple times. Times.
I thought they were booing because of the whenever we were subbing out or whatever.
No, they were booing because one time it was because K-State had to call a timeout very first play of a drive after a kickoff. Like, how do you not have your team ready to go? Like that.
Oh, yeah. And then there was also the moment where Avery didn't snap the ball when they were. Yeah. There was a lot of times where they were subbing out players and Avery didn't snap the ball when there was an extra man on the field, which would have given us the first down. Very, very unfortunate. And that was the drive that we ended up having to kick a field goal, which we ended up missing. Which there's a lot that everything that could have gone wrong was going wrong, and that seems to be the story with K-State with a lot of these games. But I mean, we did win a lot of close games against KU, against Colorado, against Tulane.
Those are some pretty good wins. KU's got a bad record, but they're a good team. They just beat BYU, and they got a big game this weekend. They just beat Iowa State as well. So
they beat Iowa State. They beat BYU. They're just taking down all the ringleaders.
And honestly, they should have beat K-State.
They should have beat K-State, yeah. But 16-0 is the record for us. But here's the thing, guys. I know you don't like moral victories, but I just think that our record for the season is still pretty good. And after a loss, the writing's on the wall. K-State, all they can really hope for right now is to just have a really good senior night next weekend and have a solid game, a redemption game against Iowa State, and then play a really good bowl game and just get ready for next season.
I want to say one thing, and then we'll get into the look around the Big 12. I would say that Tyson is probably the fourth or fifth best receiver Chris Kleiman has coached against. Maybe actually sixth, because you got Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell. He coached against C.D. Lamb, Tedero McMillan. I mean, Tyson's really good. He's not better than those guys. He's just not.
Right. One last thing I'll say. Okay, this was kind of already touched on a little bit, but what makes these losses from K-State hurt more this year than it was last year? Because listen, when we lost to the Texas Longhorns last year, it hurt because we were in it, but we were underdogs, and we were not expected to win. We're going against a team that has a bunch of 5-star recruits, and here we are, little K-State with a bunch of 3-star recruits, and we actually almost beat them. So it's kind of like that, like little dog mentality, like, oh wow, we actually took it, but that loss didn't hurt but with this season, we were favorited. We know the talent that we have, and we know the skill. We've seen it. We watched the games, and when you just go in and you lay an egg, and then you come in the week after that and you lay an egg, it just breaks your heart because you're like, what? It doesn't even look like the same team that was the team the previous 2 months. It's like, what in the world just happened?
Yeah. I mean, K-State looked okay for the first month. The second month, they looked really good.
Yeah.
Third month, we looked like dog crap. They really do. And it
fell apart. And it's like the opposite of where you want your team to go. You want to start out a little rocky, then gradually get better.
And that's what Arizona State's doing. That's what Arizona State is doing. They've only
that's what KU's doing.
Yes. Well,
that's what Colorado's doing.
I would say actually KU's more like the inverted bell curve, because they had like pretty high hopes. They looked pretty good. Week one, and then they went down and looked like crap, and now they're looking good again. The inverted bell curve. I want to say one thing. I want to do one quick rant, and then we're going to look around at Big 12. Okay. So, College game day should be renamed SEC game day, because at this point in the season, we have one. After this week, we have one more remaining regular season game. They've gone to 9 games involving an SEC team. This week, it'll make it 5 times, or 5 or 6, one of those two, involving a Big Ten game, because they're going to Indiana and Ohio State. I get it. Big game. Totally get it. And then they've gone to 2 ACC games. One of them was like Miami Cal. And I can't remember the other one, but like how many times do you think they've gone to a Big 12 game, Kenny?
0.
And the Big 12 is really good this year. I mean, Colorado has the best quarterback in the country. He might go number 1 in the NFL draft, and BYU.
I thought they went to the Texas Tech. I thought they went to the Texas Tech Colorado game, but that was big noon kickoff.
Yeah. Big noon kickoff has gone to like 5 or 6 Big 12 games. Why is Fox the only network coming to these games? What is up with ESPN? They only love the SEC, and it's infuriating. Like, the Big 12 is probably going to get 2 teams in the college football playoff, 2 or 3 at this point. Honestly, there's probably going to be a 10-2 team that doesn't make the conference championship game. There's probably going to be 3 teams that get in. Like, what is SEC ESPN doing? What is ESPN doing here? Only going to the SEC games, man. I don't get it. They're showing no love, and it's infuriating, and it's exactly what we were afraid of once Texas and Oklahoma left, that no one would care about the Big 12 anymore. And it's frustrating, man, because this league is pretty good. It really is.
Yeah. And I'll just say this one thing right here. Avery is an average game manager. Y'all be better with an elite quarterback.
He just turned 20 like 2 weeks ago.
He just turned 20. Also, I don't know if you caught the way that he was handling that tempo offense, but he was doing pretty damn good when they were running tempo. So I think he does know how to manage really well. He's a competitor. He's very, very competitive person. I think he's gonna be good when he gets older and has the season under his belt.
He's already way ahead of where Will Howard was at this point in his career.
Oh, absolutely. But I'll just say it, like, Steve, what do you think about the way that we were running that fast offense, that tempo offense? We're just lining up and going. We were able to move the ball.
I liked it, but I mean, we've tried that before, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The biggest issue right now, I still feel like on offense, is the offensive line. They're getting no push. If you can't run the ball, you're going to be throwing it every time. And when you have incompletions, then, I mean, it stops the clock. The momentum goes down. It only works if you keep continuing to move the sticks. and you only move the sticks by running the ball. And K-State can't do it right now. They just can't. So
Right.
let's look around the Big 12 here. Post week 12. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. We are really close to 1,000 subscribers. Kenny, started on Friday, man. It started on Friday. Both of us picked this game incorrectly. Arizona, the big win, 27-3. I cannot believe K-State lost to Houston, but shout out to Arizona for getting a big win here and honestly dominating from start to finish.
Dude, McMillan was playing out of his mind. There were some really insane catches that he had. There was one that didn't even get called because he just barely went out of bounds. But like it was the sickest like one-handed catch. I was like, oh my God, this guy is so crazy. But hats off to Arizona, man. Houston, they had to travel, and we all thought Arizona was down and out. We're like, okay, they have had a really hard time getting into the end zone. And I thought, well, Houston's got a great defense. They're going to probably be able to, make something happen and prevent Arizona's horrible offense and Houston's good defense. It was a bad matchup for Arizona, but it turns out Arizona had something to say about that, and they were able to get the W in a big way. That was a good win for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was, happy for Arizona. I think their fans are a little bit happier. I mean, I honestly heard some reports out there that, if they lost this game, that they were probably thinking about firing their first year head coach. I don't know if that would have happened. I'm sure his buyout was pretty big. But man, I still feel like Tedero McMillan's going to get drafted. I feel like Fafita is going to go into the transfer portal. But this was still a good win for them. And they still have a chance for bowl eligibility. They're going to be playing Arizona State in a couple weeks. But happy for them that they got the win. Houston on the other side of that, they're ahead of schedule. We talked about it earlier.
Right.
They have 3 Big 12 wins. And they have a couple games where they didn't score basically at all. I think there was 2 games they scored 0, and then they scored 3 in this game. So not good there. But it's tough to win on the road, which brings us right to our next game. You and I were here. We talked about it in our main podcast. K-State loses 24-14 at home. K-State has not won every home game since 2012. Arizona State's a very good team. Talk about another team that's way ahead of schedule. Arizona State was picked to finish last in the Big 12. Coming out with a big win, their quarterback, Sam Levitt, looked amazing. He looked like an NFL quarterback, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. They dominated from start to finish, Kenny, and it's honestly frustrating from the K-State standpoint. It really is.
Yeah, we already went over it, and K-State has failed to show up for the last 2 games that they've played. And you can put a lot of blame on the coaching staff and the players. There's enough blame to go around for everybody. And it just, when the whole program is out of sorts, how can you expect to win any games when everybody is just out of sorts, man? I don't know what else to say. Look, you and I were big K-State fans, but we're not delusional. We understand that we were favorited, but the K-State crew was not prepared, and it's a loss that's going to sting for a while, but it's not the end of the world. So we just got to keep cheering for them.
I mean, honestly, about 5 minutes into the game, I was already pretty frustrated and thought we were going to lose. Honestly, when you throw an interception on a second play, they come down and score right away, and their quarterback really good. I mean, K-State's right now, I feel like we said it in our main podcast, K-State's biggest issue is their heads. I mean, when you're getting touchdowns called back because of a legal man downfield, and there was 2 field goals where it was just a bad snap and couldn't get the ball down and kick it. Like, there's a lot of mental errors happening right now for K-State, and it feels like they're getting it in their own way. They need some things to go right, and I don't know how K-State can look that bad after a bye week. That's coaching. You got to have your team prepared, man. Like, I understand that they want to get those younger guys some more reps, but my God, like, after a loss, K-State's entire team should have been playing every single day. Like, I understand they want to get that rest, but man, you got to be prepared. You just have to be prepared after a bye week. So shout out to Arizona State. Great win for them.
It seems like K-State has a really, really hard time capitalizing on things when they goes their way.
Yep.
And then when things don't go their way, they just completely fall apart.
I agree.
And that's a lot of being young and not coached well. So it falls on the coaching staff, but also the players I don't know, man. This team needs to get it together and just try to finish out strong for the rest of the year. Otherwise, if we end up losing every game from here on out, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad for the program.
K-State's got to figure out a way to get 9 or 10 wins because it can still happen. K-State's not making a college football playoff right now. It's not, but K-State can still win 9 or 10 games. So
yep, and there's some, and that still has to mean something. I want to quote Brian Hanley. If we're saying to ourselves that 10 wins on a season doesn't mean anything, then why are we bothering? Why do we play the games?
I agree.
What's the point? If winning 10 games doesn't mean anything, then what is the point of playing games then? It has to mean something, and that's where I'm coming from. It has to at least count for something. So,
and Iowa State's never won 10 games, and they're catching a stray right now. But K-State has the opportunity to win 10 games, and Iowa State
they're just catching a random stray.
Yep. Moving on to the game of the weekend in the Big 12. You called the upset. I did not. All the fans, dude, all the BYU fans, they were lighting you up in the comment section. I was defending the BYU fans, but they thought I was last laugh here, man. You were getting the last laugh. KUN 17-13, big upset in the Big 12.
I told you so. Let's be clear here. It was an insane game. That Jalen Daniels punt that hit the back of the helmet, and then they went to grab it, pushing it forward, and then KU falls on it at the 1 yard line. It's like they finally didn't have the ball literally bounce their way for the first game. And what team that does it? It's KU Jayhawks. Oh man, it's like the most insanely written script I've ever heard of in my life. KU comes in and gets the dub. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Look, they've got two listen up, Colorado. Listen up. KU has 2 all-conference corners. Okay? So if you think that you're going to be able to just throw it around and you're going to be able to whip some balls their way, they have 2 all-conference cornerbacks. So be careful, okay? We'll talk about that on Tuesday when we do, looking ahead to the games ahead. But just keep that in mind. KU has some good secondary players. They're no joke.
They do, and they got a good quarterback and a good running back too. So
yes, Devin Neal.
And also, Tuesday we're going to unveil a new game because we're going to do a segment on Tuesday's show. We're going to be doing a weekly Big 12 game. It's gonna be fun. It'll make sense on Tuesday. But yeah, shout out to KU for getting the win, holding BYU to 13 points. What?
Not only do we not have a script, but there are moments where Stevie doesn't tell me what's going on until the day of.
There's literally we do a soft outline, and then at that point we just go. It's just off the cuff, honestly.
That's why you guys like this show. Let's be honest here. Yep. Let's just be blatantly honest.
Yep. Moving on. The game that everyone is watching right now live wants us to talk about. Kenny, you and I watch this separately, but we both watch this game. Colorado scores their most points under.
Give me my credit. Give me my freaking credit. I said Colorado 51, Utah 14. You said Colorado scoring 51 points is absurd. That's not going to happen against Utah's defense. I said, Stevie, Utah is coming off one of the worst losses they've had in a generation. They are.
Go on. Let me hear it. Bring it to me. Go on.
They're literally not going to be up for this game, and they weren't. Colorado was 2 points away from scoring the amount that I called them to get. And even the Colorado fans were like, whoa, that's pretty. Whoa, like that's a lot. I don't know about that, Kenny. I don't know about that. And I'm like, just believe me, okay? Just calm down and believe me when I say Colorado's going to score 51 points. And they almost did. They were a safety away from hitting the damn 51 marker. There was a moment where I thought, oh snap, like Utah could actually come back in this thing if Colorado doesn't get it together, but I wasn't worried. I think Colorado had everything go like in their hands. They were completely fine, but there for a moment it was like 14-28 or something like that. I'm like, I don't know. It could be one of them situations, but nope. Colorado shut it down quick. So I just want to say,
go ahead.
I just want to say, Colorado, you guys, BYU, Arizona State have like the best fans. Okay, like coming into the Big 12, fans that hadn't been in the Big 12 for a while. Those three
Say those
teams,
again. Same again.
Colorado, Arizona State, BYU.
I agree.
You guys have the best fan bases coming in to the Big 12, and it makes sense. You guys are winning. You guys are doing things that nobody thought. Like Colorado was predicted like 10-11 in the conference. BYU
11.
Bottom half. Arizona State literally the last place team in most everybody's projections. And to just see how those teams have literally flipped the script to go the other way says a lot. I don't know if Colorado is going to maintain this dominance next year. Without
Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, you mean? And Shiloh Sanders?
Yeah, without basically their entire team that's going to get drafted. I don't know how deep that recruiting is going to be, but hey, in this transfer portal world, if Deion stays the coach, they're going to
get anyone they want.
If Deion remains to be the coach, then everybody's going to want to play for Deion. But I have a suspicion that Deion's aspirations are going to be NFL. So
I agree.
We'll see.
I agree.
We'll see.
I want to say a few things. Number one, this is the first time all season that Utah had given up 30 or more points, and they gave up almost 50. First time all season. That's why I said 31-21. I was still saying they were going to score more than 30. But shout out to Colorado. I mean, there was a drive there where they had like a third and forever, and they threw a touchdown pass. I think it was their first one. They had a punt return touchdown. I mean, they were outclassing Utah from the get-go and getting their fans in it. I mean, Travis Hunter is a real deal. Shedeur Sanders is the real deal. They're a great team. I'm excited to watch them play against KU next week. I want to do a quick shout out to one Colorado fan in particular. One Colorado fan in particular is going to get what he asked for. Mike Smith, 3835. Man, you don't need Steve. You would do better going alone. Believe me, he is so personal with his commentary. Then he also said, the one announcer, Steve, is a complete a-hole and CU hater. Shout out to you, Mike Smith, 3835. You are amazing. Thank you so much for the comments. That was really nice of you. I'm not a Colorado hater, K-State fan. I'm going to eat crow right now. I think Colorado's pretty good. I think that Colorado's probably going to make the Big 12 championship game. They got a big game this weekend at KU. Even if they lose, I still think they're going to win. I still think they're going to go to the Big 12 championship game. I don't know what the tiebreakers are. Maybe we should do that on Tuesday, go over the tiebreakers. But Colorado's really good. They're really good. They've improved tremendously on defense. Their offense is amazing. I mean, the name of the game is to throw the ball, and Utah could not do that. And obviously Colorado can every single game. They have everyone watching their games. I think I looked at the TV numbers. I think they're averaging 3 or 4 million viewers per game, regardless of time slot. It's amazing. They're must-see TV right now. Really, really, really good. They deserve this win. I picked them to win by 2 scores. I picked them to cover the spread and hit the over. They just did it a little bit better than me. Shout out to Kenny for being closer in the score, but also thank you, Mike Smith, for the nice comments.
Yeah. Stevie, you still picked Colorado to win. You know,
I did.
It's not like you
31-17.
Yeah. And it's just they won a little bit bigger than that, and that's not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is. I'll say this, I'm not going to give my predictions for next week, but I'll say, like, I don't have a dog in Colorado in KU. If I think that KU beats Colorado, I don't think that that's going to be a bad thing. It's not like I'm against Colorado or anything like that. I just think
I'm going to pick
KU is playing out of their minds right now.
I'm going to pick Colorado to win now. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter if
it doesn't matter
because it's a 0.1% chance. I'd rather see KU lose. I would rather see KU lose. And Colorado's a good story, so I'm going to pick Colorado to beat KU next week. I'm calling it right now.
And that was one of the things I was going to say. One of the things I saw, it was a funny comment that I saw. It was, look at the bright side, K-State fans. We don't have to root for KU anymore. That is you talk about moral victories.
It's gonna be a tough game. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a tough game, but I am gonna
talk about moral victories. That right there is a moral victory and a half. Oh yeah, I forgot to show this. I know there's probably not as many BYU fans watching this right now, but I just want a little bit of insight here. What is this, BYU fans? I am so confused by what is going on with this right here. Why in the world do you even wear pads if this is what you're going to do?
For real.
For those who don't know, this is the BYU punter, and he's got his dang pants hiked up all the way almost to his damn crotch. It's looking like he's wearing boxer briefs. It's just like, what is going on right here? Also, I want to show one last thing. For all those Colorado fans that are blowing up the chat right now, you guys are blowing up the chat, and I love it. I really do. But this is why we say what we say. Right here, it says the Big 12 football strength of schedule, all games so far. Colorado's all the way down here.
We did say Colorado had a pretty easy schedule compared to everyone else. We did say that, but
right.
Go and take it away.
But this is why, for us, it's like, well, K-State's got like a really tough schedule. KU's got the toughest schedule. Baylor's got a tough schedule, right? And so obviously, it is what it is. The look at the teams that are in the top, like TCU. I mean, I don't know what the heck's going on with that team. I mean, they have the easiest schedule in the whole entire Big 12, and they're like maybe ranked like 7th in the conference.
Dude, the top 10 teams, none of them are in the conference championship race.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct. That is correct.
13, 14, and 15 are 1, 2, and 3 right now. And then 11 is number 4. So it does matter. It does matter. But we're not making excuses. We're not, but we're just telling you Colorado has had an easier schedule. BYU's had an easier schedule. Iowa State's had an easier schedule than some of these other teams have had.
It doesn't matter about the beginning of the year, because what matters is when you play the games. That's all that matters. Like, people's predictions are going to be predictions. Like, we all thought that Arizona State was going to be this really crappy team, and it turns out they actually have a very, very good team. So their actual power rankings, not their preseason prediction, but their actual power rankings, this is why we have to play the games, is what matters. The preseason doesn't matter. If you guys want to just live by the preseason and your power rankings actually be the preseason power rankings, then you would be actually ranked 11, but you're not. You're ranked amongst the top because you actually play the games. And when you play the games, the result of those games gives you the power ranking. Like, that's how power rankings work. It's not just a guessing game. It's like, you could say like, okay, Colorado won how many games last year? 4. How many did K-State win? Okay, 9. How many did Arizona win? How many did
it was 10 for Arizona last year?
Yeah, 10. How many did Utah win? How many, like, go through in the preseason, you're like, okay, I'm going to say we'll put them here. But then you actually have to play the games. And it turns out that Colorado's got a really good squad. They recruited.
Yeah, Colorado's got a really good squad. and a really good schedule too. It all matched up pretty well for them, and they took advantage of it. They did, and they won on a Hail Mary, or they got to overtime to win on a Hail Mary, which that actually brings us to our next game.
That's right.
Segue here. Baylor, we both said they were going to win 49-35 at West Virginia. But right after this, we are going to get into our Big 12 power rankings for everyone watching live. West Virginia did make this closer late, but I mean, Baylor dominated. I mean, they're up. I think they were up 49-28 late. So they're a good team. I mean, honestly, they're a Hail Mary away from being 7-3 and all their fans being pretty happy. I mean, they're a team no one wants to play right now. They're really, really, really good, and they showed why.
And honestly, who knows if they would have won that game, if they would actually carry that on to the next games when they would, because they lost a couple after that, playing horrible games after that. But I've said this before, like a month ago, 2 months ago, I'm like, Baylor's letting that loss to Colorado carry over for like weeks on end. But now they've kind of moved on. They started winning games, and they're winning in big ways. I mean, they won 59 against Texas Tech, 49 to West Virginia. I mean, they are just blowing doors off of freaking teams right now.
They're good. They're really good. I enjoy watching them play. I do. Their quarterback, Sawyer Robertson's, he's pretty good. And David Randy's definitely saved his job. Honestly, I think they're maybe a year away from contending for a Big 12 championship. I could see them being, rated in the top 5 or 6 next year going into the season. Like I said, I mean, if you're anyone else in this league right now, if you're BYU already played them, right? But I mean, if you're Colorado or Iowa State or whoever, I don't think any of those teams want to play them at this point in the season, because just like Arizona State, Arizona State, Baylor, I did what you did, is on an exponential rise to end the season, and they're looking really, really, really good.
That's right.
Moving on.
Go. The team that we're going to be playing against next weekend in our last home game.
Yep.
Cincinnati and Iowa State. And these are the last 2 games that we're playing. We're playing Cincinnati at home, and we're playing Iowa State at their turf to end the season. We both called Iowa State to win this game.
We did.
I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out.
I had them winning bigger than this, but I still have them winning by multiple scores.
Right. I was unsure because the reason why I said that Iowa State was going to win was because Cincinnati relies on the passing offense, and Iowa State's got great passing defense. So I didn't think that they were going to get a lot done. But, Cincinnati, they kept it somewhat close in the first half. I mean, it was basically tied up. And then they came out, and they're in Ames, so it's going to be a tough win in Ames. They're a very, very good football team at home. This kind of turned out how I expected it to be.
Yeah, I mean, they put up a fight. I mean, it was 17-20 with like a couple minutes left. Iowa State put up 2 touchdowns late to make it look a little bit better. Iowa State's a good team. I think Cincinnati's a pretty good team too. They're going to give K-State all they can handle and more. I mean, every team that plays K-State, I feel like really, really wants to win that game because they know K-State's got a good program. And Cincinnati and Iowa State are going to put up just as big of a fight, if not more, than every other team has this whole season. K-State's got to be ready for it, but shout out to Iowa State. They are 2 wins away from breaking the school record for wins in a season. So I said it a couple weeks ago. They're finally going to get 10 wins. I still think it. I think they're going to beat K-State, and they'll probably win their bowl game too, get 11 wins. So shout out to Iowa State for getting to 8-2, back in the top 25 with a 34-17 win against Cincinnati.
I'm pretty sure, but every single game that K-State has played this year, K-State has been favored. But they will not be favored against Iowa State. That'll be the first game, and maybe the bowl game. Maybe they won't be favored for the bowl game. But in terms of the, regular season, Iowa State will be the first game that they play at the last game of the year, and then the first game of the year next season, where they will be the underdog, going into their home turf. But, the first game, Cincinnati, for Iowa State to come back after losing 2 weeks in a row, First to Texas Tech and then KU. I mean, we knew Iowa State needed to come back and win big here, and they did. So congrats.
They did. Shout out to them.
Yes, sir.
And that's a look around at Big 12 for week 12. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. Moving on here to the last segment of the KSU Nation.
The best segment.
The best segment here. Moving on to the Big 12 Power Rankings post week 12. Kenny, I'm excited. There might be a new number one team. There might be a new number one team in our power rankings because actually we do our own separate ones. I actually decided to do the current standings based off of the Big 12 website because that is actually the most important thing because they do tiebreakers on there as opposed to ESPN. I don't know if they have the updated stuff. As of right now, BYU is number 1, Colorado 2, Arizona State 3, Iowa State 4, K-State 5, and then Baylor. So starting at the top, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends. We're really close to 1,000 subs. Kenny, obviously OSU at number 16, right, for both of us?
Yep. I actually wrote mine down last night after the BYU loss.
Oh, I'm going to go Utah 15. They suck. They're really bad.
That's what I have. I have Utah down at 15.
Okay. What do you got for 14?
For 14, I've got UCF.
I got Houston.
Okay. I have Houston at 13.
So the reason why I have them at 14, I'm going to do my stuff different than I normally do. Normally I base it off of who beat who. At this point in the season, almost everyone has won or lost outside of OSU. I'm going to go based off of how they're playing right now. And I'm going to go Arizona at 13.
Interesting. I have
Houston.
Yes, and that's why I have Arizona. For me, I have them after Houston at 12.
So I have UCF at 12 because they beat the brakes. They beat the brakes off of Arizona just a couple weeks ago. They almost beat Arizona State a week ago. They're another team that's kind of trending upward. They almost beat Iowa State as well. I would not want to play UCF right now. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. It's kind of hard because they have quarterback problems and they only have one dimension. And if you are able to stop that, then you basically win the game against them. And they also I don't think they're coached very well either. They have a lot of problems.
I agree.
They're kind of looking like K-State actually, which is kind of sad to say.
Yeah, it is sad to say.
For number 11, I have Cincinnati.
I also have Cincinnati at number 11.
Yes.
They also beat UCF.
That's correct. West Virginia is going to be number 10 for me.
Dude, we are on the same wavelength. I think we're going to have very similar. Yeah, I mean, they were near the top of the Big 12 conference race, but we all knew that they were not going to get to the conference title game. There's a reason why they have a couple non-conference losses, well, be it to good teams. I've never thought they were really good. They have a quarterback issue. They have a DB issue. So number 10.
That's right. Texas Tech, I have at number 9.
I also have Texas Tech at number 9.
I was wondering. I was like, you kind of snarked a little bit there. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe what's going on here. There's not much to really say. I mean, they
look good and look bad. There's a reason why they're in the middle and they're not at the bottom. They're at the top because they look good one week and look bad the next week. So
basically taking the job of the gatekeepers, West Virginia.
They are now the gatekeepers, right? They're number 9. They took over West Virginia's spot. So
yes, I've got TCU at number 8, basically because they beat Texas Tech, and so not really sure where else to put them except for right there, smack dab number 8.
I'm going to go KU number 8, and I've held off long enough. They're what, 4 and 6. They look pretty good, but I mean, there's a reason why they have 6 losses.
You just said that you were ranking them based on how they're looking now.
I know, but also, in addition to that, they did lose to TCU at home by double digits. I don't think TCU is very good. I'll be honest. I don't think they're very good.
I think if Kansas played them right now, they would beat them. I think they would
Okay.
absolutely
Okay.
crush them.
I can
That's
see that.
why
I can
I've
see
got
that.
KU at number 7.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, they're interchangeable. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Number 6, I have
Oh,
K-State.
I also have K-State at number 6. I debated about putting them number 7 or number 8, but I mean, they beat KU. I think they beat TCU, even though they look really, really, really bad right now. I can't have them any lower than number 6 as well. Kenny.
Despite the fact that they lost to Houston, I think that they could beat every single team that's beneath them.
I agree.
Yeah. I think the
They
Houston
should have beat
lost.
Houston too, by the way. That was
They
the
should have
first time
beat Houston.
first time they
The
given up a
fact-
2-score lead in fourth quarter in like 8 years.
Right. And I think the biggest problem with K-State right now is the fact that there's something going on in the locker room. Fans are unaware of it. We're probably never going to know what it is until maybe after the season, when things get leaked. But there's something going on inside the locker room that is causing K-State to perform so badly in this back half of the year.
I agree.
So it's unfortunate, but K-State, you were up there in the top 3, but now you're in the middle of the pack. So it's unfortunate.
Yep.
And we're K-State fans. We don't like doing this, but it is what it is. We have to be objective. So number 5, I've got Baylor, bro.
I've got Colorado.
Yep.
Just kidding. I got you.
No, I was like, he's gonna psych me out here.
It's Baylor. Baylor looks really good right now. They're tied for, what is that, like 5th place, whatever. They're pretty good. Like I said earlier in the main podcast and another video that no one wants to play them right now. They probably should have beaten Colorado too. Put them at 7-3, and right up there in a conference race.
Yeah,
they're pretty good right now. They're pretty good, and no one wants to play them. They're on an upward trajectory.
Actually, I'm going to just touch on a couple things that OC Finn, because he has blown up this chat right now. OC Finn, he said they looked really bad after the CU win. Not really, because they went and played West Virginia and they crushed them. They looked bad after the KU. Well, they looked bad after that win. When they went and played KU, they looked really bad, and then they obviously haven't won a game since. But also, OC Finn says, I know what the problem is. It's bad coaching. No, it's not bad coaching. It's that the coaching isn't there. It's not even there, because Coach Kleiman, we already talked about this earlier, he's got personal things going on in his life, and it's unfortunate no one stepped up to take his place as he's dealing with tragedy in his life.
Right.
We definitely don't want to bash on that, but it's just unfortunate. It's just everything about it is just unfortunate, but it is what it is. You can't dwell on it. You just have to move forward and just hope that for him personally, that he's okay, his family's okay. I'm still praying for him. But we got to keep moving on with this ranking here. I've got Iowa State at number 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious. I mean, I think we're going to have the same top 6 here, honestly.
There's arguments that you could put BYU in at number 4 based on how they've looked.
No.
Well, I mean, you could argue that if they lose this next week, they would be at number 4. Because they struggled against Oklahoma, they struggled against Utah, and they lost to Kansas. So and they've had a really they've had an amazing year. I mean, they're the team of destiny, and they almost won against Kansas. I mean, there was moments in that game I was like, holy crap, they might win here. But number 3, I've got Arizona State.
Yep, we're gonna have the same top 6. I also have Arizona State number 3. They looked really good, specifically defensively. I did not think they'd be able to stop K-State's running game as much as they did in the first half to stop K-State overall in the first half.
Right.
They look really good, and their quarterback, I mean, my God, he is good, dude. He is everything I thought he'd be and more, because I said before the game, he threw for 300 yards a couple games, and he looks really good. There probably could be 9-1 if he didn't get hurt, because he got hurt and didn't play against Cincinnati. They missed a couple field goals as well. I mean, they're a really, really good football team, and shout out to Kenny Dillingham for having a great first name and having a great team this year.
That's right. Yeah, Blackout. I just want to touch. Yeah, winning is winning. Oh,
Yep.
oh, there it is. Winning is winning, no matter if it's by an inch or by a mile, like Dom say.
We said that in the last podcast as well.
And and you're absolutely right, man. Utah and BYU can definitely tell you all about what winning is winning, even if it's by an inch or a mile. And it was definitely by an inch for that game for sure. Number 2,
Yep.
we have to drop BYU down to number 2. I know BYU fans are going to be really upset.
I mean, come on. This is based off of how they're playing right now, and they had the same record in the conference as Colorado. I mean, you just lost at home to Tino's 3-6. Yikes, bro.
What is this? This is my wife, I think.
Savvy McJoe.
My wife is on here. She's
nice.
putting in some comments.
Dude, your wife
yeah,
watches more than my wife does.
And finally, last but not least, we have a brand new leader of the power rankings here at KSU Nation.
Have to. They're playing better than anyone.
They have literally put silence to all the haters, and they've quite literally, they're playing the best football in this conference right now. They've got the best weapons. They're playing really disciplined on both sides of the ball. And I will be shocked if Colorado does not make it to the Big 12 championship game. I agree. Shocked if they don't.
We might do a live stream while we're watching the game for the Big 12 championship. We might do it together and just live react to that game. Now that K-State's definitely out of it, we're going to do a whole breakdown of scenarios next week, because with 1 week left, I mean, that's when you do the scenarios. But yeah, BYU is number 2, Colorado number 1. We'll base it off of how they're playing right now.
Yeah,
BYU has not looked good for a while Colorado has looked really good for a while. So new number 1 team.
And I mean, they're tied in conference play. I mean, the only blemish that Colorado has is that outside of the loss to K-State is the Nebraska loss.
Nebraska started off well, and they ended up not being very good. And a lot of teams will either start off well and not very well, or start off bad and end very good. And shout out to Colorado for ending pretty good right now.
It actually is kind of awesome if I think about it, that the 2 top teams, their only blemish so far has been against Kansas teams. That's pretty cool. I
don't want any of KU sauce. I don't. K-State only. K-State only. That's why I'm rooting for Colorado on Saturday. Yeah, I'm rooting for BYU too. I am going to pick them to lose against Arizona State. I've said it a few times in different videos.
You've said it so many times, dude.
I'm going to pick them to lose to Arizona State, but Arizona State's really good. They're really good.
I think
I'm interested to see who makes the title game if Arizona State, BYU, and Colorado are all 7-2 in conference play. We'll have to look at the scenarios. So
yeah,
and Iowa State as well. Iowa State could get there at 7-2 too. So
I think that Colorado, our best chances for this conference in the college football playoff has to be Colorado right now, because you just said BYU. I mean, you could make an argument for Arizona State, but BYU, like you said, lately has struggled. A lot of their games, the ball was just sort of bouncing their way in a lot of their wins.
It just was. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. They were getting lucky, but they were also capitalizing off of it. So
yeah. It's like when the ball bounces your way, you got to keep going. You can't just, if you get a call that goes your way, K-State just never could capitalize on anything that would go their way. And then when something didn't go their way, they let it fall apart, like in the worst way. And with BYU, if there's something that didn't go their way, they didn't let it kill them. Like they would still manage to find ways to come back and win games. And you saw it on full display against the Holy War game, So,
yep.
And that just goes to show, like, they're a really good football team. Arizona State's a really good football team. The top 5, I would say, are playing very good football.
I agree. In our rankings right here. In our
rankings. Don't look at the current standings. In our rankings, the top 5 are playing
and we're
very,
K-State
very good
fans.
football.
We're just calling it like it is. K-State is playing like crap. The top 5 is playing good.
we don't like
honestly,
saying
BYU
this.
is really not playing very good right now. BYU is not playing very good, but
Yeah, but
they're
what they've
9-1.
shown,
They're 9-1. They've shown they're good. So.
Yes, and we're K-State fans. We don't like saying that K-State's not playing well. This is
they're not.
But it's the facts. Okay, facts don't care about your feelings.
Nope, they don't. And that's the Big 12 Power Rankings post Week 12. Kenny. Well, this was a fun show, a frustrating show. Have to put that loss behind us, move forward, still have a chance for 9 or 10 wins. Use that as a springboard into next season. Hopefully, K-State can get in the transfer portal, get some DBs, get some O linemen. Maybe get a new OC. We'll see. Yeah. Man, there's some issues there. There's some issues there. So,
just going to say a few things. Even though we just said that, we got to put this loss behind us, Stevie and I are going to be talking about this game for the next 2 days after this, because we do have, again, we encourage you guys to swing by the Go Power Cat YouTube channel. I think they're called, what is it, K-State Power Cat or
just
something like
search
that?
Go Power Cat, you'll find them. Yeah, it's Kansas State football Go Power Cat or whatever, but they have 15,000 subscribers. They've been a website for forever. They used to have a magazine that I actually did some work for back in the day. That's how I know Fitz. But yeah, it's I'm excited to be on there tomorrow. I'm excited. 8:00 Central.
Yes, and we're going to be amongst a panel of other very well known in the K-State world. People that are in the K-State, KSU media across the board. They do a lot of interviews, and they talk. They have got some other podcasts as well. But they see the growth, and that is a big thanks to you guys. They see the growth of our channel, and they reached out to us to invite us to be special guests on their show for tomorrow. You said it's going to be at 8:00. They usually do about an hour, kind of like what we do. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk a little bit about this game that we just witnessed on this last weekend, but then we'll also talk about the game ahead as we go against Cincinnati. And then don't forget, we'll be back on the KSU Nation YouTube channel on our podcast on Tuesday at 4:30, talking about it as well. And we'll go over, the hot takes, and then we'll do the score predictions for all the other games, because man, I have been on fire. If I went back and just looked at all my score predictions this year, they've been pretty dang good. I need to go buy a lottery ticket.
Well, and if you would have bet those, you probably would have made some money. I'm not gonna lie, you probably would have made some money. I'm excited for Tuesday, because you don't even know what the game we're gonna play is. I have a new game. We're gonna do a new game every week. It'll be something different, but you guys will see what I'm talking about. It'll be a new Big 12 game that I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try to host it. Maybe Kenny will do one as well, but we'll see. But I have a new one for Tuesday, so I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Tuesday. I'm excited for tomorrow. Really quickly, I want to talk about this for 1 minute, and then we can also give 1 minute on the upcoming game. K-State lost Thursday to LSU in basketball. K-State looks like dog crap right now. Early in the season, K-State has almost an entirely new team. Only have 2 or 3 returning players, 3 actually. Coleman Hawkins is doing nothing. K-State got outclassed by a former K-Stater, Cam Carter. He dominated us and then talked crap after, as he should. K-State and Jerome Tang have a long way to go. As of right now, I would not pick them to win 20 games. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking to say.
I know.
But based upon what you saw it.
I watched the entire game. I was pissed off the entire game.
And it was not pretty. It's going to be rough again. And it kind of makes you wonder, did Coach Tang just get really lucky his first year with snagging Keontae Johnson
when no one else won him because he was coming off of that heart issue, and then having Marquise Noel come back? And Ish Massoud was big too. There's a lot of things to take from that dude. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree.
Yeah, because you can chalk a lot of things up to last season with the whole Naquan Tomlin debacle and that kind of threw the whole season in a downward trend. And
it did.
But this season is a whole new season, and we're already getting off on the wrong foot. We already look like we're really struggling, and that's not something that you want to have.
No.
It's frustrating.
You need
really
those marquee wins in a non-con, dude. You need that to help you numbers wise. So I want to really quickly, let's pick K-State versus Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley State's lost 3 games by 40 plus. There's no line out yet. Tuesday, Bramlage Coliseum. I'm going to pick K-State to win, not by 40, because I think they're not very good right now. I got K-State winning something like 68 to 58. Dang
it, dude. I was going to say 60s. I'll go lower. I'll say like 65 to like, I'll do like 65 to 48. 65, 48. I still think our defense is pretty good, but our offense is bad. We have really bad offense.
It's really bad. K-State's football and basketball offense is atrocious. So there's a long way to go. But thankfully, you have a whole 30 plus more games for basketball. Football is almost over.
We're just going to highlight a bunch of these. SCO buffs. I mean, you guys.
Colorado fans are excited right now. They should be.
You should be. You guys deserve it. You guys are playing really well, and you definitely shut up a lot of the naysayers. So
yep.
I was skeptical coming in because what did I have to go off of? I didn't watch Colorado last year. I just saw the record. I said, "Oh wow, that's embarrassing." 4 wins.
They lost a lot of close games, though. They lost a lot of close games.
They lost a lot of close wins, but they definitely reamped their coaching staff. They brought in some really good players, and that has made the difference. That has definitely helped out their team a lot, and they are looking like the best team in the Big 12. I really hope that Colorado's program continues to look good past this year. It's exciting that it's this year and that you guys got a great quarterback and you got great weapons and stuff like that. I just hope that you guys continue to get players after this year, and a lot has to do with, Deion Sanders remaining your coach, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
I'm kind of excited to see a BYU versus Colorado Big 12 championship game if it happens. I think it could be them or Arizona State. Arizona State's pretty good too. So
Iowa State might have something to say about it too.
I mean, the top 4 teams are still in it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll break down the scenarios on Tuesday. But that has been the KSU Nation podcast post week 12 here in the Big 12. Kenny, I think there's just one last thing to say, bud.
Don't forget to watch us tomorrow. Don't forget to watch us on Tuesday at 4:30, tomorrow 8:00 p.m. And go Big 12 and go Cats.
Go Cats, baby.
Damn.